Hi, and welcome to another video by Jim the Car Guy. Today we have a 2008. It's a Mercury, a Grand Marquis. The customer complaint today is that the air conditioning does not work. Well, all right, let's grab the machine, connect it up, and let's see what the pressures read. You can see right here that there's insignificant Freon inside there. There's really nothing inside the system. It's pretty much bone dry. So now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a visual. We're going to look around the entire air conditioning system. Okay, first thing we're going to do is we're going to start in the back over here. We're going to do a visual of everything in here just to see if it's leaking. These are very common to leak through these O-rings right here, but as you can see, this one is fairly dry. That one down there is also fairly dry. I don't see any kind of visible leakage there. The compressor itself looks fairly dry down there. I don't know if you can see that, but it looks fairly dry. I don't see anything on that. But that line there definitely is suspect of being a problem. I am going to recommend to the customer that that line be replaced because that's most likely where the leak is coming from. The rest of the lines look okay. And the last thing we're going to do is we're going to go down there by, you see that round, let's get my hand down here so you can see. You see this round piece right here? That's called a receiver dryer. Or an accumulator, whatever you want to call it. It is extremely rusty, so it's a possibility that something could be going on down there. So let's lift it up and take a look from the bottom just to see what's going on down there. Doesn't look like it's leaking, but you never know. All right, next thing we're going to do is we're going to come up underneath the front right in here. And inside here is your air conditioner condenser. We're going to look around at that condenser very carefully, just to make sure that we don't see any oily spots on there. An oily spot is usually a dead giveaway that something has hit it and punctured the front of it. I don't see anything, but now let's lift it up and we'll take a look from the bottom and see what's going on down there. Okay, now we got the vehicle up in the air, and as you can see, the condenser looks really dry. There's no signs of wet or oily spots whatsoever. If there was a leak, it would look like a big greasy oily spot. But I want to show you this. You see underneath here, right off the bat, you see that this here, you see that oily spot on that airfoil? And if you look right up in there, you see underneath the accumulator, you see how rusty that is in there? And it's wet. Now I got a feeling that our problem is going to be that accumulator is going to be rotting away. We are going to change that line up top as well, but let's make a phone call and talk to the customer, and then we'll see if he wants me to go any further with it. But we're going to open up that accumulator cover and we'll see what it looks like underneath there. What we're going to do is just hook up underneath here with a long thin screwdriver like that and just push it off. There's no doubt in my mind that that accumulator is leaking. Let's pull it out a little bit. Now what happens is it gets rusty inside there. It's actually very common in this particular vehicle, so they do rust away. So, all right, let me call the customer, give him the heads up of what's going on, and we're going to continue. Now we are going to change this high pressure line right here. We're going to take out that 13mm screw right there, and then down on top of the compressor itself there's actually another 13mm screw right down in there. I'm going to take that out. We're going to unplug this switch right here, and the way you do that is you just pull up on that little tab, you rock it back and forth just like this, and you pull it out. Now this is the accumulator. Once I take it out, you'll see how rusted that thing is. But what we're going to do is now we're going to take this little clip right here off, and we're going to unplug that switch. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing down there. I'm just lifting that tab up again and just rocking it. And we'll take it off like this. We're going to put that off to the side so it's not in our way. And now, as far as disconnecting the accumulator, or receiver dryer, whatever you want to call it, this little clip right here, you pull it and take it off. That's a safety clip. And then down here, there's another one right down here. We do the same thing down there. Just take it and you just rock it and it comes off. Now, as tempted as you are to throw them away, don't do it. You'll need to put these back on. Now, we're going to disconnect these fittings here so we can get these lines out, but I'm going to take this one out first so I have a little more room to work inside there. So let me get a couple of tools and we'll take that line off. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take out that one right there. It's a 13 millimeter. All right, and once you break it loose, then we'll just take that nut out. Hold on to this because you will need to use that later. Now you'll notice that there's O-rings on the end of that right there. Never use the old O-rings. You're always going to change them and put new ones on there. Now this we're just going to move over to the side like this for a second. And then we're going to go down. I don't know if I'm going to be able to film that with you, but I'm going to take out that other 13 millimeter down the bottom. Okay. Okay, now again, hold on to that. We're not going to lose that either. Now we're going to take that line and take it off of the compressor. And you just rock it because the O-ring is stuck in there, like this. And then we're going to take this off to the side for now. And we need to switch over this this pressure switch right here. So for now we're going to put this off to the side. And we're going to concentrate back on that accumulator down there now. I'm going to see if I can get you in there so I can show you what to do. But it's going to be a little difficult. You see this piece right here? There's a special tool made. That's what these tools are right here. These are to actually open up the snap ring on there and to expand it so we can get it off. You see how it has the, it's spring loaded. We put it around the piece like this, and then we just pull it up and take it off. So I'm going to try to do it so you can see. It goes around like that, and then we take it and we twist it and pull it up at the same time. And then we just take the hose and rotate it back and forth and we can take it out. But I'm going to need two hands to do this. Okay. Our white one was the correct one. And you feel it pop up. Then you just take your tool off like this. I know you probably couldn't see what I was doing there, but I'll show you real quick anyway. And then you take this off. And what happens is there's a little spring inside there that you need to push that spring back with that tool. Alright, so you see there's 3 O-rings on there. We are going to change all 3 of those O-rings. But for now we're just going to put this off to the side. And then we're going to concentrate on doing the exact same thing to that one down there. I hope you can see it. Let's try it again. Now you take the white. Now the spring itself is on this side right here. So we take this, put it around it like that. You see this piece right here? You can watch it push in. I am going to need a second hand to do this. We're going to pull in on that tool this way, and we're going to rotate this and pull that off at the same time. I will tell you, that was a little bit tight. Alright, then we're just going to take it, and we're just going to rock it. That was extremely tight. All right. Okay. And now we have all line down here is disconnected as well, and our accumulator is disconnected. So we're now going to take the accumulator out, and we'll pull it out. I'm going to need 2 hands to do this, it looks like, so don't go nowhere. We'll do this together. It would be easier coming out through the bottom, but I'm going to do it right up on top right here so you can see. Let me get you in a little closer so you can see what it looks like. See what happened? See how the bottom rotted away? See that? That's because what happens is it gets stuck in the water gets inside that plastic jacket, and it just eats up the accumulator, and it just rots it away. All right? Okay, let's grab the new accumulator, and we're going to change a couple of O-rings, and we'll continue. Okay, now a good accumulator will come with all of the O-rings with it, but if you don't have the O-rings, make sure you change every O-ring that's on here and also on the unit itself, I mean on all those hoses. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take off all of this stuff here. I always put it back on because it actually keeps it from making a mess. You want to match it up to make sure that everything is correct. And then we're going to take our pressure switch, and we're going to take this switch off, and we're going to reuse it on the new accumulator. All right, that's the old O-ring. If you don't have that O-ring, you're going to change it. But like I said, most of the time the quality parts comes with the new one. But that's the old accumulator. We'll put that to the side for now. All right, I'm going to take our new O-rings. Okay, this one actually came with a new O-ring on there already. So now before you put anything back together, you're gonna put oil on these O-rings before you screw this switch in, because if you have a dry switch and you screw it over a dry O-ring, you may damage that O-ring. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a little bit of this oil. This is oil for the refrigerant. We're going to take it like this, and we're going to take a little bit of oil, and we're going to put it on like that. Just wet the O-ring a little bit, and then you screw this fitting back on like this. Now you don't have to go crazy tightening it down because there's an O-ring on it. We just snug it in just like that, and then that's done. All right, now these O-rings have to be lubricated before you put them back on to the tubes there. So these are all the O-rings. We're just going to put these right here for now. And we're going to separate them so we know. They look like they're all the same anyway. All right, let's go over to the car, and we're going to take the O-rings off the old lines, and we'll put the new ones on. Okay. All right, what we're going to do now is you take this line, just like this, you take a scribe, and you hook the O-ring, and just take each one of them off. All three of them come off. Like that. All right, so that's the three there. Now if you remember, we have three more down here as well. And we're going to take all three of these off too. Remember, you never use, even though these O-rings may look good, you never use an O-ring over again. We're just going to sit them right there for now. We're going to get rid of these O-rings so we don't have any errors. Okay, I'm going to do this right in front of you so you have an idea. You take each one of the O-rings and you soak them in a little bit of refrigerant oil, just like that. Okay? And then you take the O-rings and you put each one on here just like this. And make sure it goes into the groove. Okay, so now we have 3 new O-rings on here. We're going to put this line back out of the way for now. And now we'll take our other 3 O-rings, put them in the oil, just like that. And then we'll put them all on one at a time. I like the scribe because you can hook it and you can put them on without damaging it. But whatever you have, whether you have a screwdriver or what you have, you can reuse it. Okay. And let me get the 3rd one. Put a 3rd one on. Okay, and make sure all 3 are in their grooves where they belong. And then we're just going to put this off to the side for now. Make sure it doesn't get dirty. And now we're going to stick our accumulator back in there. We're going to put our accumulator in. Now it's back in there. And now before we go down to the bottom and put that cover back on, let's see. We're going to try to put the cover on from the top up here. So we're going to put the cover on like this, and we're going to snap these clips back in there. They always like to put the more difficult ones on first. Okay, I'm going to lift this up, put those clips back on, and then we'll come right back. Okay, Alright, so now that we have the new line here, again, comes with the new O-rings attached to it. Make sure you use them. We're going to put these in the oil and let them soak already. They all bolt the same size. So we're going to put them in the oil. We're going to switch over this switch here as well. Okay, so now we're going to take the hose and take that pressure fitting off of it. Okay, now we match the hose up to make sure it's the same, and it is the same. So we're in good shape here. Now this O-ring here, we're going to lubricate it a little bit. We're just going to put a little bit of oil on it. And now we'll screw this bolt back over the top of it. And we're just going to snug it in there. Just like that. Alright. And now, let's make sure what's going on here. Okay, it's got a new O-ring on it already. Okay, this already has new O-rings on it, so I'm not sure exactly why they gave us these other O-rings. Let's just take one off and see. These O-rings are exactly like that O-ring, so not sure why they gave us new ones. Okay, but we are going to lubricate this end as well. A little bit of oil on here like this. A little bit of oil on everything like that. Okay, let's go over and we'll put it back on the car and we'll get this wrapped up. Okay, so now let's put our hose. Now remember that this went down to the bottom like this, and this one was up the top. So we're going to put the hardest one on first, which is this one. Catch that nut back on there that we took off. Be careful, you don't drop it. I'll use our magnet to assist us getting it on there. We're going to screw it down by hand. And then once you have it caught, then you can tighten it in the rest of the way. We're just going to snug it down. We're not going to go crazy and tighten it up too tight. What happens to the O-ring is what seals it, so we don't have to worry about making it too tight. Okay. Next thing we're going to do now is we're going to put this one back in here. And we'll catch that nut on here. You're only screwing into an aluminum fitting there, so you don't want to over tighten it and destroy anything. Okay, I bring you in. I'm going to show you one last thing here. Remember that pressure switch that we disconnected? We're just going to put it back on, and we're going to push it in until it snaps in place. And that's it. Alright, so we tightened up the screw down there with our new O-rings. We tightened it up here with our new O-rings. And the accumulator is put back on. All our switches are reconnected. Our pressure switches are reconnected down here. They're connected up. Our lock clips are in place. That's it. We're ready to vacuum pump this down into a vacuum now. So, alright, let me just hook the machine up and we're going to continue. Okay, so we pulled it down into a vacuum now for a half an hour, and we let it sit just to make sure that there is no loss of vacuum, which is not losing anything. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come over here and we're going to install the oil into the system. And the way we do that is we just open up this valve right here, and the oil goes right into the system. And now we're going to charge the system up. It calls for 27 ounces, which I know is about 160. So we're going to enter it, charge it, and that's it. Okay, let's go inside, start the car up, and make sure it's okay. Normal range is supposed to be somewhere around 30 and a little bit over 200, leaves about 2 1/4. Now we are in the back of the shop here and there's very little air circulation here, so we're going to let this run for just a little bit and then we're going to take it and road test it and make sure it's okay. Right, so that's it, we're all set. Alright, the AC is nice and cold. We put the thermometer inside the vent inside the dashboard just to make sure that it's nice and cool, which it is. The customer is going to be extremely happy, especially being that next couple of days is going to get pretty hot. So that's it, we're finished. We're going to take it for a road test now, make sure it's good, and then it's out the door and on to the next. As always, thanks for watching. See you on the next one.